Hey, it's Thursday, so that means another IMSA Maritime video blog. This week, we're going to talk about the ISPS codes. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us for another episode of our Maritime video blog here at International Maritime Security Associates. I'm Corey Ranslam, part of the leadership team, and always glad to be with you guys on Thursday. We like to use this as a platform to be able to reach out and interact with our fans, viewers, clients, contractors, and customers. So if you have any questions, make sure you post the questions down below or through our social media, which is all linked down below in our comments and information section. If you have any questions or if there's anything that we can help you on regulatory compliance, on risk management in the maritime industry, don't hesitate to reach out to us through our company website at imsa.global, or you can reach out to us through our direct switchboard line at +1 234 312 4855. We looked back at some of the videos that we've done in the past, and we've talked a lot about the ISPS codes, or the International Ship and Port Facility Security Codes. But one of the things that I realized is we really haven't spent a lot of time to go through some of the nuances of the ISPS codes. So what we're going to do in these next couple of episodes is we're going to talk specifically about the ISPS codes and regulatory compliance from more of an international look. When you take a look at ISPS compliance and maritime security compliance, you always first start with the ISPS, as we've talked about in the past. One of the other things that you always want to look at is the flag state, or the flag and registration country of your vessel. The ISPS codes are the underlying codes that the international community uses then for each individual country and flag state to build their own regulatory compliance regime. So you always want to have an understanding of the ISPS codes, but also a specific understanding of your flag state requirements, because those change a little bit from international compliance or international codes into flag state compliance. So we have a great resource that we've used in the past. We've talked about it. We talked about it in episode 1 when we did our very first video at Blue Water Books and Charts. We found a really great resource that's been put together, and I brought it back in today, is the book here on the guide to the ISPS codes. This is a very good book that gives a layman's overview of the ISPS codes. So in today's episode, we want to talk specifically about the shipboard side of it. Next week's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the facility side of it. And again, we're just giving you generalities. It's a good idea that if you have specific questions to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you with that. So from a ship side, let's go right to the book and go through some of the parts of the code. I'm not always a fan of all the codes and the regulations, because I think a lot of stuff that's in them and is a lot of boilerplate and a lot of extra work for a really little return. However, there are some parts of the ISPS code that I really think for mariners, for you guys, they really give you a mindset when it comes to security. Ship captains, ship crew members are not security experts. That's what we do. But it really helps you to frame up your understanding of the codes and the security issues that you need to be concerned with. One of the things that you always want to do, whether you're a large yacht, a cargo vessel, or a cruise line, is have a plan that works. You need to understand the knowledge, skills, and abilities of your crew members, the knowledge or the capabilities of your vessel, where you're going, what you're doing, and be able to put all of that together to have a plan in place to say, hey, if these things happen, these are some that maybe put a list together of the top 5 items that you may encounter from a security perspective, and be able to say, here's how we're going to deal with each one. A really simple, workable plan. But from a compliance standpoint, let's jump right into the codes here. And we're just going to go through a couple of pages that I've highlighted. A lot of great information, and we're definitely not going to get through it in a 5 to 7 minute video. So from an overview standpoint, there's a ton of great information that talks about responsibility for the governments, for the ships, and for the shoreside facilities. It's a good idea to have a great knowledge and understanding of that. And again, if you have any questions on that stuff, kind of reach out to us. There's a lot of background. The ISPS codes are part of the SOLAS regulations that were adopted in 1974, the safety of life at sea. And there's been a lot of updates to those. So make sure that you always understand what's happening right now. You may be watching this video 2 years from now, so it's a good idea to understand how have the codes and the regulations changed based on some of the information that we presented here. When you take a look at security, one of the things that has made it pretty easy, and a lot of countries have adopted this, is a system of different security alert levels. Under the ISPS codes, it's very easy, very straightforward. There's 3 alert levels: security alert level 1, level 2, level 3. Security level 1 is basically your normal everyday operations. Security level 2 is a heightened level of security lasting for a certain time period. And security level 3 is basically, oh my gosh, it's just hit the fan and there's something major that has happened or that is about to happen in a certain port. Very easy, very brief overview on that. When you take a look at responsibilities, it's a great idea for being a ship captain or the ship security officer or the company security officer to understand your responsibilities. That's one of the things that I really like about this book, is there's an appendix that covers how the responsibilities fall, whether you're a government, whether you're a ship captain or crew or a port facility security officer. So it's a very, very good reference in here that delineates the responsibilities. This book really does a great job of laying it out. And believe me, they're not a sponsor of our show and we're not trying to promote the book, but out of all the references out there, this is the one that I have found is the best reference. So there's a great section in here on responsibilities. We're gonna skip forward to the ship section and talk a little bit about the ship side. There's some points to understand. People ask questions about who is required to comply with ISPS regulations. Glad you guys asked that, and you're a smart audience. So thanks for asking those smart questions. There's really kind of 4 major groups that are part of what would be considered ISPS codes. Again, flag states have variations to this, so you want to understand the flag state. Number 1, passenger ships that carry 12 or more passengers. Now, these are commercial ships. So if you're a large yacht and you have 12 people on board, but you're not under a commercial charter, you wouldn't fall under the ISPS codes. If the owner brings his whole family on board and you've got 12 people on board and it's the owner of the yacht, it's private operations, you don't fall under the ISPS codes. So there's some nuances to consider based on type of vessel. Cargo ships of 500 gross tons or greater. Mobile offshore drilling rigs and units, and then special ships that are designated as special ships over 500 gross tons. So that's kind of a brief overview of some of the ship side of it, of vessels that are subject to ISPS regulations. You also want to understand regulations of the ports that you're going to visit, because there are some nuances that ports that you will visit will enforce on your vessel regardless of your flag state. So you also want to have an understanding of that when it comes to your regulatory compliance. The last area that we're going to talk about is the ship security assessment. I always talk to our clients, regardless of if they're a private yacht, a cargo line, or a cruise line, about the ship security assessment. This is something that you want to do regardless of the type of vessel that you have. If you're under ISPS or you're under some other regulatory compliance regime, you want to do a good security assessment of the vessel, especially if you could potentially go to areas of the world where you could see problems or issues. The security assessment is a great way for you as a ship's captain or a ship security officer to go through the different items on your ship. And it's a great way for you to kind of put the mirror up to see the capabilities of the vessel, capabilities of the crew, and get you in a mindset to think, hey, what would we do in XYZ type of a situation? This is also something that clients ask us to do because of our security background and expertise. We have phenomenal people that work for us here that do these assessments who have 15 and 20 years of maritime experience. So that's something that we can help you as well, is put this assessment together. I recommend you do this regardless of the type of vessel, whether you're under ISPS or not. And there's a lot of good things that it helps bring to light for the captain, for the crew, because you don't want to have to think about all of this stuff if you are in some type of an emergency situation. You want to think about it ahead of time and always put together a simple and common sense plan. So that's our brief on the ISPS codes. I really appreciate you guys taking your time to watch this video, to join us on the channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get notified when we put new videos out. If you like this video and like the content, make sure you hit the like button. If there's any questions that you have on maritime regulatory compliance and or risk management, or if there's something that we can do to help out your operations, reach out to us through our company website at imsa.global, and make sure you post comments below or comments to our social media. Again, all those links are detailed down below. We want to interact with you guys. We want to hear from our audience on topics that you want us to push forward. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.